Okay, hi. So today's theme is on peace, a really good one and a really key one in this season. And actually there's that kind of common saying that there can be order in the chaos, or there can be calm in the storm. Two sort of really ironic things, two really contrasting things, order and chaos, calm and storm. But actually there can be peace in the storm. There can be calm in the storm. Peace is one of those things, you don't have to be in a really quiet place, a calm environment, or somewhere really tranquil to experience peace. Actually, peace is best experienced when it is in the middle of the chaos, when things are going mad. In the midst of it, that's real, that's true ultimate peace. Going to a spa, it's quite easy to find peace. But being at home with 3 crazy kids, or trying to cook dinner, trying to do this, or facing a diagnosis or something that rocks your world, ultimate peace can be found. So today is going to be quite a bit more of a slower pace, nice and relaxing one, lots of nice stretches and taking things a little bit slower. So what I want you to do, if sitting legs crossed is uncomfortable for you, I know that's not available for everyone, maybe back in primary school, but maybe not for the last 10 years or more. You can sit legs out straight if you want to, or even on a chair if it's really uncomfortable. Otherwise, sitting, I just want you to relax the shoulders, relax your whole body, just shut your eyes. Closing out any distractions, letting your eyes just remain closed. Just begin to shut off any distractions, just being aware of yourself. Don't worry about anyone else, or what's going on tonight, what you're having for dinner, whether your phone's on silent or not. Just try and shut out all those thoughts. And a really good way to shut out any other thoughts is to think about your breathing. So I just want you to be aware of your breathing. Something that your body does for you automatically. But it's a really good way to bring that body and mind connection when we think about our breath. And as you're breathing, I'd like to begin to breathe in through your nose and gently out through your mouth. Don't worry about being self-conscious. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Keeping that going, and there's a reason why that's a good way to breathe. As you breathe in through your nose, your body's filtering that air, purifying that air as it goes down into your lungs. And as you breathe out through your mouth, it's a good way to just quickly expel all those waste products, that waste air, nice and quickly out of your mouth. Let's do a couple more breathing in. And out. In. And out. And then just open your eyes for a moment. I want you to place one hand on your chest, one hand just on your ribcage or on your tummy. And so often we get breathing wrong. I know that's a ridiculous thing to say, but often people don't know how to breathe properly. And they end up hyperventilating or breathing just really shallow breaths. And that can put quite a lot of pressure on the upper back and shoulders, kind of that area that we don't need any more tension. We often have enough. So what I want you to do, as you take a few more breaths, I want you to try and relax from the chest and see if you can get the breath coming into the lower part of the lungs. So instead of breathing like this, we want to relax. And breathing in here, watch my hand, inflating the tummy. Okay, easier said than done. Again, shut your eyes, just notice the movement, notice which hand's moving. And trust me on this. I know it can be tedious working on breathing. When I go to class and we spend the first 10-20 minutes working on breathing, I'm like, oh, this is a waste of time. But there is actually a lot of value in breathing properly. Your body can get so much more out of exercises, so much more out of life when we learn to breathe properly. So let's just do a couple more, breathing from that bottom part of the lungs. And then our last little breathing practice, I just want you to bring your hands together so your fingertips are touching. And this time I want you to imagine your rib cage is like an accordion. You know, one of those old school instruments that go out to the side. Okay, so instead of your lungs or your tummy being like a balloon and you're inflating out and in, thinking about an accordion, you're going to send it out and in. So again, close your eyes And try and feel the ribcage expanding sideways. Try and almost spread your fingertips apart. Creating that width across the lungs. Breathing into the sides of the ribcage. Last couple. Try and keep those shoulders relaxed. And then relax the arms. Who knew breathing would be so difficult? So actually there's a real key contrast with how we breathe. When we're tense and tight and anxious and worried, we tend to really shallow breathe and we sort of hyperventilate and we don't take nice, deep, relaxed breath. And so that creates more tension and it manifests in our muscles making us stiff, making us tight. So it's that kind of downward spiral, that kind of catch-22 situation. Our bodies and minds are so tightly interconnected. So we're going to do a lot of work on loosening off today. And actually I just want you to think about something before we start today. The opposite of peace is kind of worry or anxiety, which is kind of strife in our world today. So many people struggle with anxiety, and particularly in the last season and this current season even that we're still in. And the thing is, worry doesn't solve tomorrow's problems, but it does rob today of its peace. Okay? So let's make a start. I just want you to begin to tilt the head, turning over one shoulder, turning over the other, nice and gently. And don't worry if there's lots of clicking, creaking, crunching, that's okay. Keep those shoulders just relaxed. And don't worry, it's not going to stay this easy the whole time, so enjoy while it lasts, because there is a few harder ones coming your way. This time I want you to draw a semicircle looking up. And then a semicircle looking down. And then coming back to the centre, this time just begin to shrug the shoulders and relax. Shrugging the shoulders, squeezing them up to our ears and relaxing. Shrugging the shoulders and relax. And often, particularly as we're going into winter and over the next coming cold months, even in summer too, but particularly in the colder months, and walking around like this, I'm a key culprit for that. And then the next day you wonder, oh, why are your shoulders sore? Last couple. And then this time relaxing the shoulders down, just bring the arms out in front, and I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing. I want you to imagine you're holding a box of chocolates and you're going to offer them to someone, reaching the arms away and relaxing. Reaching the arms away, so you're getting that protraction and retraction, that movement of the shoulder blades moving forwards and backwards against the rib cage. Okay, so holding your box of chocolates, whatever takes your fancy. Roses would probably be mine. Actually no, here Rose, I'm definitely a Cadbury's girl. Reaching forwards and back. Good, last couple. And this is a really key one, just mobilising the shoulder blades. Often around the shoulder blades we get really tight, we get knots and a lot of tension building up. And then this time I want you to just clasp the hands, push the hands outwards, stretching across the shoulder blades, and then stretch the arms up, lengthen the spine, reaching up, and release the arms, relax the shoulders back down, and this time you're going to reach up with one arm, and back down, reaching up with the other arm, back down. So you're noting the rib cage gliding up on one side, up on the other. Good. Just moving through the rib cage, getting the rib cage isolated, working on its own, separate to the pelvis. And this time we're going to take the arms out to the side. You're going to reach over to one side reach to the other side, and back, reaching as far as you can. And then coming back to the center, bring the hands on the rib cage and just begin to circle the ribs. This is a bit of a funny one to do, but actually a really good one. Actually, we should probably do a bit more than we ever do. How often do we ever mobilize the rib cage? And often that's kind of really interconnected with our core. So keep going and just listen for a sec. This area here, we've got a big band like a corset going around us, and that keeps our rib cage aligned. But if we're busy sort of sticking our rib cage out and that's not aligned, that kind of doesn't work our core very well. So we've got to work our core, keeping the rib cage down. But this is just a lovely one to mobilize and just loosen off. So if you can go in anti-clockwise and clockwise, a couple more. Maybe even if that's hard for you, you could just rock the pelvis side to side or even forwards and backwards. And then relaxing off. Bit of a tough one, but I would really recommend doing that. Looks a bit funny, looks like you're at some sort of old school disco party. It's an old school dance move. Bring one hand onto the opposite knee. I'm going to come round into a nice spine twist, twisting yourself around, look round behind you, and just gently hold. You can leave yourself against that knee. And then swapping over. And then coming back to the center. So make sure you've got a bit of space around you. We're going to reach the arms up and then you're going to split the arms. One going back, one going forwards. One going back, one going forwards. Good, last couple. And then relaxing back down. Stepping the feet out in front of you and coming in to a roll back. So we're going to sit up nice and tall, just holding onto the fronts of the knees, and we're going to think about the lower part of the back. So a really good one to work on your posture as well. So from here, you're going to sit back off the sitting bones, sitting on more of your bottom, rocking back, making a bit of a C shape through the spine. And then you're going to lead with the chest, stacking the spine back up. So you're rolling out here, we're looking at this movement of the pelvis, tilting back, rocking back, lead with the chest, come back up. So if you've got baggy bottom, this is the one where you become very aware of it. Rocking back, use the knees to support you, coming back up. Keep those shoulders relaxed. And if you can, imagine you've got an apple or something underneath your chin, or an orange, or even a Terry's chocolate orange, whatever motivates you. And from here, rocking back, lead with the chest, stack up. When you feel ready, release from the knees and let the core do the work. Rocking back, coming back up, rolling back, lead with the chest, stack the spine back up. And ideally, we don't really want to be feeling it in the legs. You might do a little bit. If you're feeling it pulling too much through the hip flexors, you could always drop the knees, have a little froggy knees, do the same thing. It just sort of stops you being able to work the legs and isolate, using the core, mobilizing, trying to get as much movement through the spine, keeping that C shape. And the segmental order in which we roll back: lower back, mid back, upper back, mid back, lower back. And then this time I'm going to add in some obliques. So as you rock back, you're going to sweep open, as if you're opening a door with the arm, and close, roll back up. Rolling open, sweep open, roll back up. So make sure you look, you don't leave the head behind. As you turn, you engage all down the side. last couple. On your next one, roll back, hold. So thinking about keeping that peace during the storm, because this is a bit of a stormy one. You're going to open and pulse. Pulse, so you're going to open, open, open. 3, 2, 1. Other side, rolling back, open, pulse, 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 opening the arm. And 3, 2, 1. Slowly pull up. Just lengthen through the back. Holding on underneath the backs of the legs, draw yourself in. Get the lower back a nice little stretch. Okay, this time a little bit tougher for the abdominals. If you find it too much with the legs up, you find it easier, you can always straighten the legs, up to you. This time I want you to rock back, hold, you're going to float one arm up and the other arm up. Staying here, lift, lift. If that feels okay, you can lift both and lower. And then you'll notice how sort of exposed the abdominals feel and how they have to kick in and work hard when you lift the arms. And on your next one, lift either one or both and hold. Breathing. Breathing. And rolling up. Lengthen the legs and just hinging forwards. You don't have to reach for the feet, you could reach for the floor. You can soften the knees if it feels too much. And you can just allow the back to roll and to round. And releasing, stepping the feet up. And you're going to bring yourself slowly down onto your back. So, thinking about our setup, feet and knees in line with our hips. And we're just going to do a couple of tilts through the pelvis. So, I want you to imagine you're going to rock the pelvis forwards, creating a little air gap under your back. And then tilting the pelvis back, flattening the back. A couple of times, rocking forwards, rocking back. Nice and gently loosening up the lower part of the back. And then on your next one, finding that in-between position, which you may have heard called neutral spine. So it's not forcing your back into the floor, it's not letting it arch either, it's that in-between nice and relaxed position. So often the key to Pilates is to be able to exercise relaxed, having peace in your body, so you're not rigid and tense, you're nice and relaxed, things can just flow. Relax the arms, draw the shoulders down away from the ears, and just send the crown of the head away from you. Imagine placing that orange or Terry's chocolate orange back underneath your chin. From here, I want you to keep the hips super still. So imagine you've got a tray of drinks resting on your pelvis. You're going to take a nice breath in. As you exhale, you're going to tilt one knee open. Inhale, close. Exhale, open. Inhale, close. So it's a very small movement, the hips stay still. If you imagine you had spotlights shining upwards from those knobbly bits on your hips, they should always stay pointing upwards. You can always place your hands on your hips. So if you go too far, the hips begin to tilt and open. We want to keep that pelvic stability by working the core. So switching on again, tighten. Imagine you've got that invisible belt, tightening it into notch 2 or 3. Let's go a couple more. And up to your next one. I just want you to lift the arms, and hopefully, if you're doing it well and properly, the arms won't be moving. So we don't want to see any of this happening, counteracting with the arms. Arms stay still, opening and closing with the knees. Arms just give a good indication of what's going on through the upper body. Keep those shoulders relaxed. back to the center. Keep the arms up, mobilizing the arms, so thinking about keeping that ribcage glued down to the mat. You're going to send the arms over the head towards the floor. Do a gentle little circle if you want to, back to the top. Exhaling, breathing out, breathing in. Exhale, take the arms back. You're not trying to get them as far as you can. You're just trying to work within your range of movement. So we're not overextending and making the rib cage arch. Keep that rib cage weighed down nice and heavy. So we're keeping it in line, using the core to keep that control of the rib cage. And after your next one, I want you to just float the legs, either one or both. It's up to you if you want to work harder, both knees up. Continue exactly the same with the arms, this time giving the core a bit of work to do. If you're finding the lower back's trying to arch off the floor, just place one foot back down. And you could always swap halfway through, or you can just stay on that one leg. And on your next one, as you come back to the top, hold. Glue the feet together, coming back to that hip twist like we did to start with, but on the floor. Opening one knee and closing. Opening, closing. Remember, keeping those hips nice and still. You can bring your hands down if you're finding it too much. Or remember, keeping the arms up gives you a good indication that you're not swaying or counteracting with the upper body. Last couple. So you should be feeling those abdominals working a little bit, or a lot. And then one more each side. And then give the knees a hug in. Rock the knees or circle the knees. And then I want you to roll over onto one side and press yourself up into sitting. And we're going to reshift our position, coming on to our tummy. So from here, we're going to reach our arms out in front, legs out behind. And on our front, it's still just as important to think about our neutral spine position. I want you to imagine you're going to hold a little grape under your tummy. So you're not just flattening everything into the floor. You often see a lot of people doing this sort of exercise in the gym. That's okay, but you'll notice that you often lose that position of the lower back and you're really concaving. Some exercises that's okay, especially like the cobra. But right now, I want you to try and stay in neutral, which actually is much harder than you might think. So picture having a grape underneath your tummy. Try not to turn that grape into wine just yet. Relax the forehead down, and we're going to reach away the opposite arm, opposite leg, opposite arm, opposite leg. So keep that grape intact. Using your breath, exhale, reach and hover. Inhale, lower. So you're not trying to reach as high as you can. You're trying to stretch out as long as you can. Try and gain an extra few inches. Try and grow a couple of inches. I could use a couple. Not really. Exhale, hover. Inhale, relax. Exhale, hover. Inhale, relax. Is your grape still intact? Hopefully. On your next one, reach and hover and hold. And we're going to do some little circles. So it's a bit like tapping your head, rubbing your tummy, this one. Lots for your brain to think about. And then see if you can reverse those circles. Yeah, testing your brain here. Don't worry if they're not too circular-like. Even if you're just wiggling them around, that's okay. And then releasing, swapping over, Reach the other arm and leg away, hold. Gentle circles. And changing direction. And then resting back down. Bringing the hands underneath the forehead. So this is the one where it's going to test your ability to keep that grape intact. If these exercises on your front seem harder than normal, that's a good indication that you're doing them right. Okay? If it feels really, really hard to keep that grape in place, that means you're working your core. You're drawing everything up. So from here, relax the legs, try and drop the heels out to the side, so you relax your bottom. Try not to tense up. We're trying to isolate the upper body, those kind of key areas that we need to strengthen and we need to release the tension in. So from here, take a nice breath in. Exhale, so if you can hover head and hands just an inch or two off the floor. Inhale, lower. Exhale, hover. Inhale, lower. So try and avoid tensing through the bottom, try and avoid being a butt clencher. Try and relax those legs. Exhale, hover. Inhale, lower. And let's go 2 more. And resting down. This time bring the legs together, and this time you can be a butt clencher. So we want to be isolating the legs and we want to be relaxing through the upper body. So instead of tensing it up, relax the upper body, squeeze your legs together, squeeze your bottom, hover the legs and lower. Exhale, reach the legs away. Inhale, lower. So is your grape still there, hopefully? And on your next one, squeeze and hold, hovering the legs. I want you to gently do some little kicks, fluttering the legs, kicking up and down. Keep those legs hovering. Let's go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relaxing down. Bring the hands up and just come onto your hands and knees. Sit back into child's pose. Reach the arms forwards, reach the arms away. Draw the elbows towards the floor so you feel a nice stretch just underneath the arms. And then just bring yourself back to your hands and knees. So next exercise is a little bit of a tough one. I'm going to show you first, see if you can watch carefully. So coming into our shell stretch, it looks very similar to that child's pose that we just did. From here, I want you to tuck the tailbone under. I want you to keep that tucked position as you sit back. Keep tucked, keep tucked, keep tucked, tucked. And you'll notice the abdominals have to switch on, keeping that tucked position, sitting back. And then release. Tuck under, tuck, tuck, tuck. Keep that tucked position. And release. We're going to do that a couple of times. Last couple. do one more. And release. Bring yourself back to your hands and knees. Tuck your toes under. Just bring the hands just slightly in front of the shoulders. Relax the elbows. Okay, so make sure you've got all points of contact with the fingers and the palms on the floor. Toes are tucked under. We're going to take a nice breath in. As you exhale, you're going to press the hands and the feet into the floor to hover the knees. Inhale, holding. Exhale, slowly lower. Come back down to land. Breath in. Breath out. Power up. Inhale, hold. Exhale, lower. So if you can, remembering that breathing pattern, or just take it really slow. Exhale, hover, allow a few little ants or something to run underneath your knees. Inhale, hold. Exhale, lower. Soften those elbows. Keep the head in line. Try not to let the head drop. Try not to be looking up. Look in between your hands. If you find it's too much on the wrist, you can always do it from the forearms. Keep those knees as low as you can. They're barely lifting off the floor. It's a lovely one to work the upper body as well as the core. On your next one, I want you to see if you can move your hands forward. So this one looks a bit like a shooting rocket. You're going to hover, you're going to propel your hips forwards to come over your hands into that high plank position. You're going to hover before you lower. So you need to move your hands forward so that as you come forwards, you're over your hands. Your hands aren't back here, but your hands are directly under the shoulders. So you can practice that. You can add in the same breathing rhythm. Breath in, exhale, hover, propel forwards. Inhale, hold. Exhale, hover, gently lower. If it feels too much, you can just come back here. If it still feels too much to even hover the knees, even just the effect of trying, so works those muscles the same, okay? So even if you're not getting any air, that's okay. Okay, last couple. And making your next one your last one. This time as you come up, you're going to do some march with the legs. If you're just hovering, you can do a few little fairy marches here. Okay, but make it nice and quiet, marching with the feet. Last couple. Let's go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the knees, sit back into child's pose, tuck the fingers underneath, release off the wrists, relax the head and breathe. So even when things are hard work, hopefully afterwards you'll feel nice and energized and peaceful. So we're thinking about keeping that calm in the midst of the storm. Walk the hands around to one side, keep the head in between the arms. And then to the other side. center, bring yourself down onto your tummy. Bring the arms out at 90 degrees out to the side, coming into our cobra. So we're going to gradually come into this. Try and get the forearms and elbows down. You're going to peel the forehead off the floor, the chest, and then the rib cage. Looking straight ahead, opening through the front of the body. Keep the shoulders down and rolling back down. I'm going to do that a couple of times. Gently peeling up, forehead, chest, rib cage, chest, forehead. This time, if you want more, you can bring the hands in a bit more and coming up even further, lifting rib cage and then belly button. Look straight ahead, keep the hips on the floor, laying down through the belly button, rib cage, chest, forehead. If you've got any lower back problems, maybe just stay with the cobra and come up halfway, full way, or into that full cobra position. Keep the shoulders down. And then make your next one your last one. And then push yourself back up into kneeling and come round into sitting. So sitting, legs straddled over to one side, coming into the mermaid stretch. So you're going to rest your forearm down. And you're going to sweep over, looking like a beautiful, elegant mermaid. Don't know why it's called that. I guess it kind of looks like a mermaid, you know, tail splayed out on a rock. And then to the other side. Counter stretch. This one's a little bit tougher. And release. Swing the feet round to the other side. Again, rest down on the forearm. Sweep the arm over. And to the counter stretch. Bring the legs round, either back into legs crossed or legs straight. Clasp the hands, keep the elbows wide around the back, as if you're hugging a big tree or something. And release, just sweep one arm across and pull it open. So you're stretching all across the shoulder, opening up the shoulder blade. And releasing. Other side. And releasing. I want you to bring yourself down onto your back. Just bring the arms a little bit wider than next to your body. Bring your feet and knees together, and you're just going to gently drop the knees to one side, turn the head to look in the opposite direction, and then swap nice and slowly. Next one is you take the knees down, grab hold of that top knee and just pull it down a little bit further, increasing that spine stretch. Keep both shoulders on the floor. And then swapping over, drop the knees to the other side and gently pull down. Coming back to the centre, stretch out both legs, stretch out the arms, reaching nice and tall, stretch yourself out. And then bring the arms next to your body. Relax the feet. If you find it more comfortable, you can always bend the knees. Otherwise, relax the legs, let the feet drop out to the sides, relaxing the hips, relaxing the arms. And just closing your eyes, getting rid of any distractions, just taking a moment to be still. There's not very rarely any moments in our day-to-day life, apart from when we sleep, that we do just stop and we're actually still. And it's not always in the stillness that we find peace. We can still find peace when we're on the go, when we're busy, when we're on the school run, when we're at work, when we're on the phone. And so I just want you to notice how your body feels. Just do a bit of a body self-scan, which means maybe starting from the feet, working your way upwards to the top of your head, just noticing how each body part feels, part by part, noticing for any tension or any pain. But we just want to relax. So if you do find an area where you feel a bit tense, almost just speaking over yourself to just relax, because there is power in our words, particularly as you come up to around the shoulders, around the neck, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the arms and the forearms, letting the palms just lay nice and open, fingers uncurled. Letting the head feel nice and heavy. Unclenching the jaw, which again we can often carry quite a bit of tension around the jaw. Relaxing around the forehead. And a bit like we started the class, let's focus in on our breathing. Taking a nice breath in and out. Allowing the inhale breath to almost lift you, and the exhale breath to let you relax a bit deeper. And just continue that nice, deep, long breathing, which helps you relax. So breathing's such a great tool to help us find peace, to help us find relaxation. Keeping that breathing. And like we said at the beginning, the breath is a really great way to connect the mind and the body. And again, like we mentioned at the beginning, often when our mind's busy, when we've got tension, when we've got anxious thoughts, it manifests itself in our body. And equally the same is true when we're really busy all the time and we get exhausted. It doesn't just exhaust our body, but often our mind too. It drains us. And so when we come to find peace, because we're a three-part being, body, mind, spirit, we have to incorporate all three of those to find peace. You know what it's like sometimes if you're lying in bed, your body is maybe being peaceful, but we've probably all had those times when our minds are so busy and full on, buzzing. So it's then very hard for our body to relax. The same is true often when we're in a HIIT class and when we're busy rushing around. It's very hard for our mind to then, like if it's at peace, for our body to follow suit. So sometimes it does take note to just be still for a moment, to find that calm in the midst of the storm, to reflect on your thoughts and be aware of them. So often we're unaware of the thoughts that we think about ourselves, about our circumstances. And remembering back to the beginning where I said, worry doesn't take away tomorrow's problems, but it takes away today's peace. Now it's so much easier said than done, not to worry. But when we do really come down to the crux of it, worrying doesn't help anything. Worrying just escalates a problem. So whether you need to keep that as a mantra to yourself or say it over and over, worry doesn't take away tomorrow's problems. It takes away today's peace. It even says that in the Bible. It says, don't worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow's got its own worries for itself. We don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. We don't know what tomorrow brings. So often we're worried for nothing. So just slowly begin to wiggle your legs, wiggle your feet, wiggle your hands. And then draw your knees into your chest. Give your knees a bit of a rock, side to side. And then ever so carefully roll onto one side of your body. Press yourself up into sitting. Again, just finishing sitting legs crossed or legs out straight. And just roll out through the shoulders, loosening off. Relax the shoulders down. Bring the arms out to the side. Take a nice big breath in, reaching up, holding that breath, and then let it out, exhaling. And again, breath in, and breath out. Relaxing the arms. And a little kind of cliche, cheesy quote to leave you with, actually from Mother Teresa. So if there's any kind of person to listen to, it might be her. It's actually, peace begins with a smile. You've heard those things where it takes less muscles to smile than it does frown. And even in those circumstances where you do not feel like smiling, you think, oh my goodness, that's the last thing I feel like. Smiling does bring peace. Well done, everybody. Hope you feel nice and peaceful, a little bit more calm, even if that was just a glimpse of calm for your day. Hopefully you'll have got something out of that. Well done.